Hello, my name is Anne Goldsbrough and I was a Commissioner of the Australian Law Reform Commission for the Family Violence and Family Law Inquiry undertaken in conjunction with the New South Wales Law Reform Commission over the years 2009-2010. At the outset, I congratulate the Australian Law Reform Commission on its 40th anniversary of delivering remarkable reports and recommendations for law reform to the enduring benefit of us all in the Australian community. I've been asked to comment on my time as a Law Reform Commissioner on this anniversary, and I'm delighted to do so. I've been a Victorian Magistrate now for about 19 years. Family violence in our family violence intervention order lists, criminal matters, sentencing, in our child protection jurisdiction and our victims of crime compensation jurisdiction make up an increasingly large proportion of a state magistrate's work. Prior to that time, I was a family lawyer and a registrar of the Family Court of Australia. I have had a long-standing interest, and some may say passion, about social justice, family violence and family law-related issues. I was also the supervising magistrate for family violence and family law in Victoria for 6 years, 2002-2007, overseeing and participating in the design, development and the implementation of Victoria's specialist family violence courts and the state's integrated family violence response. I was so very pleased to be appointed as a Commissioner to the Australian Law Reform Commission specifically for the Family Law and Family Violence Inquiry. I understand I was the first specific inquiry Commissioner and was asked to be so given my knowledge and experience in this often complex area of overlapping state and Commonwealth laws affecting so many Australian families. I found the experience of being a Law Reform Commissioner most rewarding. It provided me with an opportunity to consider a wide range of views delivered in submissions, consultations, discussions with Commission staff, who are quite an incredible and dedicated group. Our judicial colleagues, federal and state colleagues around Australia, and of course academics with interest in this particular area. It was also an excellent opportunity to bring knowledge of practice and the intersection of jurisdictions I'd built up over so many years in the law, in particular as a judicial officer, to these broader discussions. Whilst in my own courts I've introduced many systems changes and what I hope is best practice, the capacity to look beyond one court to the federal and state systems, to help interpret the daily realities of the intersection of these jurisdictions for members of the community approaching our courts and the justice system, while considering the big picture with those at the Commission, all provided an incredibly satisfying experience for me. I consider law reform commissions are critical institutions in a democracy. They enable a community to have an unbiased consideration, review and critique of complex areas or points of law, enabling sound, reliable and practical recommendations and advice for policymakers which stand the test of time. Since October 2010, when the Commission's report Family Violence, a National Legal Response was released, it has provided a benchmark, and I, like so many others I know, have regularly used and referenced the report and recommendations made. Whilst the Commission's recommendations of course centre on reform to laws, they also critically make recommendations about best practice and procedures such as specialisation in family violence matters in courts, police and lawyers, to support the consistent application of the relevant laws with respect to family law and family violence. This is such an important factor, in my view, in improving outcomes for any community. This inquiry and the consultative process encouraged organisations and individuals to review their own practice and standards and introduce improvements along the way, even before the report was released. Another excellent indication of the value of law reform commissions, it seems to me. I congratulate the Australian Law Reform Commission on the first 40 years of critical and authoritative work on behalf of the Australian community. Thank you.